Thank you. Thank you. As you've just heard, my name is Pete Peterson, and I'm the founder of the most creatively named, imaginatively named foundation in history. As you've just heard, it's the Peter G. Peterson Foundation. I thought that was going to be funny, but I guess it wasn't. For 25 years or more, I've been relentlessly, boringly, and volubly writing articles and books about things demographic, about debts, about deficits, about entitlements, and so forth. And being an aging fat cat, I am a wonderful target for the media and for book reviewers. For example, I wrote a book called Gray Dawn. It was about the whole progression of an aging world. Some wag at my book party, of all things, referred to it as the Gray Yawn. On another occasion, I wrote a book called Running on Empty, which was about entitlements and the like. Ted Sorensen, President Kennedy's assistant, told the following story at another book party. He said, Gray Dawn is a book that once you put it down, you will not be able to pick it up. Well, let's get on with it. When I asked our top group of people to go out and make their own set of projections of where things were heading, they were unanimous in the view that our debt levels are projected to reach unprecedented and unsustainable levels. In fact, these unsustainable debts are a central threat to the future economy of this country, in my view. Now, economists don't agree on very much, but they seem to agree that we should be investing more, given how competitive and knowledge-based and global the economy has become. But if we're going to invest more, the uncomfortable question is, where do we get the resources to invest, given the record levels of debt? With debt, of course, come interest costs, and interest buys us nothing. It's essentially about the past and not the future. So I asked our research staff if they would make projections of how high our interest costs might be, given the debt levels that are projected. Now, if you ask most economists, I emphasize most, on what they think needs to be done, they will tell you, I think we should be investing more in education and in research and development and in skill training and in infrastructure. Well, our team's projections of interest costs of these record debt levels, interest costs reach a level, according to their best thinking, that are 4.5 times the totality of what the government spends on education, skill training, research and development, and infrastructure. Now, this set of facts to me makes clear the critical need for all of us to do what we can to get acquainted with the realities and to both reduce our debt, find the resources for investment. Now, that isn't just going to take money, which we are pleased to make available, but it is important, obviously, that we find the leadership and the management to achieve those twin objectives of increasing awareness and increasing action. Now, I've had a life full of what I call dumb luck. And I've had the luck on this occasion to have a son who, by unanimous consent of all those who work with him, is truly brilliant. But what makes it quite extraordinary is that he's become thoroughly committed to the mission of the foundation. So it's now my pleasure to introduce someone who has made his father very happy and very proud. Michael Peterson, the president of the foundation and the chief operating officer. Michael, please step forward.
Thank you.
And incidentally, I want you to forget I said that.
Well, thank you for those kind words. I guess I do have one small issue with what you said. I don't think it was dumb luck that I care about the debt. You didn't exactly leave that to chance. People ask me what it's like to grow up as Pete Peterson's son, and to answer that, normally I just pull out a chart of long-term debt to GDP, and I can plot my childhood along the way. But the truth is, I'm the lucky one, Dad, to have you as such a wonderful father, so thank you. And thank all of you for coming to our 5th annual Fiscal Summit. In the past, we've focused on how to reduce the debt. This year, we're going to talk about how to grow the economy. The economy is still a concern for everyone, and it should be. With unemployment high and growth low, too many American families have yet to feel economic relief. Now more than ever, it's critical to remember the connection between our fiscal outlook and our economic health. And with Washington stuck in pre-election paralysis, we thought we should use this break in the action as an opportunity to get back to basics and remember why fiscal reform is so important. Fiscal policy is the pathway to a brighter economic future. As you saw in the video, a strong fiscal foundation, where our long-term debt is stabilized at a reasonable level, activates key drivers of growth. With greater access to capital and more confidence, private investment fuels new businesses and more jobs. With fewer interest costs crowding out the budget, we have more resources to invest, driving productivity and innovation. In these and many other ways, a solid fiscal foundation supports a more vibrant economy, with rising wages and more mobility and opportunity for Americans. But as good as that sounds, the decision has been made not to do that. Make no mistake, our fiscal foundation is not strong. The recent improvement in current deficits is nice, but we only have 3 years before our debt starts going up again as a share of GDP. On our current fiscal path, the conditions for growth weaken, and we're left with less confidence, fewer investments, and greater risk. So as the brilliant economist Yogi Berra put it, the future ain't what it used to be. I don't think he was referring to long-term debt, but he got it right. He also gave some very prudent advice on finding your direction. Yogi said, you've got to be very careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might not get there. I think we all agree on where we want to go, towards a bright future for America. But we must remember that our decisions today have real effects on the America of the future and on our nation's ability to lead in the world. And that's what the Peterson Foundation is doing. Our goal is to keep the momentum up and keep the pressure on to remember our future and the next generation. And there's no doubt that Americans get it. A national poll we released this week found that 91% agree that a stable fiscal foundation will help the economy grow. 80% agree that mobility and opportunity will improve if the U.S. reduces its debt. And these results span ideological and socioeconomic backgrounds. And if you saw the results from our fiscal awareness competition on college campuses this year, you'd see that the next generation is starting to wake up. The good news is that we can still make the right choices to ensure economic prosperity for America. There are policy decisions to make and politics to overcome, but ultimately it's simple math. We know the problem, and the solutions are right in front of us. It's time to get it done. Today we're here to explore the creation of that fiscal foundation, how that foundation supports key economic drivers, and how those drivers create a thriving economy. We're proud to have convened some of the nation's preeminent thinkers, including economists, policymakers, business leaders, and elected officials. Thank you.